like I'm getting probed by aliens.
I'm saying
I don't.
it's not gonna fly.
It's not gonna fly. It's not. It was not organic. It was not.
Okay, so
It sounded so set up.
for the record, we had been like setting up. We even did like a little bit. We didn't even realize we weren't recording the audio.
There's this
You probably have
perfect.
the audio on the.
I'm not using that.
There was
though.
this perfect bit of banter, and none of you will ever get to hear it because we weren't recording.
But we can reenact it right here though. This is the
can't.
perfect time to
No,
reenact.
we
It
know
doesn't capture the
reenactments,
magic.
Not natural.
It was-
Okay. Well, everyone, welcome back. Episode 6? Is it 6? It's between episode 5 and 10 for sure.
Yeah,
6.
somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there. So, welcome. As you can see, it's not just me and Dorian this time.
Who else is here?
Who's this guy?
Who's this guy?
Who's
Hey.
this happy little guy right here?
Hey y'all, you might remember me from the 2017 slaying of Shroud in PUBG.
Slaying.
On the map Sandhawk. Time approximately 2 p.m. Central. Day, I don't fucking know. It was pretty cool. Check out the clip. Now.
made me put the clip.
I killed him! I killed Shroud!
Yeah,
I
guess
killed
we gotta get
Shroud!
that clip.
We have it. It's on the description of episode 5. So.
Yeah, when that happened, I wish I captured his reaction video. It's been deleted from Twitch, but he was like, "Oh, there's nothing I can do now." My reaction was, "I just jizzed. I just jizzed." I was like, "My life is complete. You can just turn me off now.
I was about
I'm ready
to ask,
go."
was that like your entire life had led up to that moment?
That's
and now,
every time I meet anyone. That's what I lead with.
when
That's
you're
what-
on your deathbed, there's no regrets because you killed Shroud
Exactly.
in PUBG.
That's it. That's it. That's all you need.
Dang, do you have the reaction that he made?
No, he was just because I caught him in a weird corner from a staircase, and he was just like, "Oh, there's nothing I can do to that," because I basically M16 headshot him like aggressively.
And just for the record, so just so you know how important this thing is to this man, this has been, what, 7 years ago?
Probably like 8 at this point.
8 years ago.
Still talking about
He
it.
But
still
it's
talks
so
about
good.
it.
I mean, killing Shroud when Shroud was peak,
Yeah.
that's like not a lot.
It
of
was
people can
he
say
was
that.
peak at that point, and that's when PUBG was peak, and that's also my friend was streaming it in a coffee shop. He saw it live. He called me. I felt like a celebrity. He's like, "I just saw you kill Shroud like live. It was so cool."
All right, and so that's Brent. So tell the people when you started playing games, what kind of game you like.
Okay. I started really early, probably earlier than I can even remember. I think I was playing video games in the womb. But let's pass that awkward
What
joke
an odd
off.
thing to say.
Yep. That is kind of weird now that I'm thinking about it. But our first console in my house was an Xbox, and that came with Halo.
Oh,
And that was
Man.
the best campaign ever.
For Halo to be your first game, that's quite a game.
It's pretty good,
That's
right?
quite a
I mean, we
game.
had like Game Boy games and stuff, but like my first like TV console.
where you're sitting down.
Yeah, where you're sitting down, you got the controllers. Like we played at friends' places and stuff, but this was like our first. We got it for Christmas. It's freaking awesome.
I mean, for the record, though, you're also sitting down usually when you play the Game Boy. So
that is true. Yeah.
So,
I guess Pokemon would be the first video game.
oh, you played
device.
Pokemon?
Yeah. I had Pokemon Red, the red one.
Yeah.
That
So
was
how
my
long how long would you say you've been playing?
Probably over 24 years.
Damn.
Oh man, that sounds old.
Your gaming time is old enough to drink and some.
That's terrible.
I don't know. Hey, I remember that you mentioned that you were pretty high ranked in a couple of video games like Apex
little
and
bit.
Halo.
Yeah.
What rank were you in Halo? Peak.
Onyx. I got to Onyx. That was recently.
Is that the highest that you can get in Halo?
It is, but I was like low level Onyx. I was like 1540, which is like at 15 is when you break Onyx.
I see.
But there are people that would like at that point it becomes a grind session, and you have to roll with like all Onyx people and like
How about Apex?
Apex? I forgot it was like I forget the ranking system. I think it was like the not the top division, not the top like category, but one below it at the top division of that. What the fuck? Is this a sting? Is this a sting? I I do have an addictive personality when it comes to gaming, especially FPS. I've probably put in 20, close to 2,000, over 2,000, maybe 2,200 hours in PUBG alone.
Jeez.
And like Halo, probably another 1,000 there easily. But
Wow.
my mainstay is FPS and Battle Royale.
Now, one more question for you. Out of every game, who is your gaming waifu, and is it Cortana?
Video game babe. Who's the
Video
hottest
game
video
babe.
game babe? You can
Who's
think of.
who's Pokimane, I think.
Oh my god.
Damn. I mean,
Son of a...
Is
Jesus.
that yours too?
No, I'm talking about in game. In the
Oh, yeah.
game, not real life.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
Cortana. Yeah, Cortana. She's
This-
pretty.
This guy.
She can take a lot of different blue forms and shapes. It's pretty cool.
Damn, that was so good.
Oh my god.
When- so, and again, another thing is for those of you guys who don't know already. So, Bren and I have another podcast that we do shoot, non-related at all to video games, and actually, the content is kind of significantly more boring compared to it,
Yes.
but a lot more expensive.
Yes.
None of this is selling me at all on that.
It's not supposed.
It's
to.
more-
you don't
it's
watch
more-
our other podcasts.
It's
we're gonna
more
find you.
boring and more expensive. Those are the adjectives you chose.
But it's also more powerful.
Oh.
Oh. Okay. So as you guys have a little brief introduction of our guest, Brendan, we're of course gonna be talking about a game that, I feel we're kind of familiar with Bren saying that he has over 2,000 hours on PUBG. Rightfully, we're gonna talk about the game Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt.
Yes. Also, speaking of Shroud, because he was playing that game for
He
a while.
was?
He was. I actually watched him stream
When we-
Vampire
was
the
it when-
Masquerade Bloodhunt for a little bit.
Oh wow.
No way.
Yeah, not joking.
Was he sponsored? Do you think, or was just curious? He was
I have no
curious.
idea. I know I don't think so because he was getting kind of real with his thoughts on the game.
Oh damn.
But like he didn't hate it. He liked parts of it. He was just like, oh, this part could use some work and all that stuff.
Really?
But he was definitely playing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, let me give a little bit of a rundown on what Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt is. Moving forward from this episode, we're going to call it Vamp because
Yes.
it is a fucking mouthful to try to.
Vampire
The
the
full-
Masquerade Bloodhunt.
Oh, I thought it was blood.
That's censored. I'm
It
pretty sure
might-
that was censored.
It might surprise you. It's not called that.
Oh shit!
Yeah, don't worry.
What have
that
I
was-
been playing then?
He's playing a
You
hentai game.
downloaded the wrong game, bro.
No
Playing
wonder
like,
you guys aren't in my lobby every time.
no wonder he likes Pokemon.
Holy shit!
Okay, so it is a battle royale that's fashioned after it's off a video game or the existing IP, right?
So Vampire the Masquerade, it's almost like Dungeons and Dragons, where it's almost like a brand, because you know how like there's Dungeons and Dragons, the tabletop game, and then there's like Dungeons and Dragons video games, there's the Dungeons and Dragons movie and all that. Same thing with Vampire the Masquerade. It's a tabletop RPG system that people have made games and books and stuff.
There's a
off
whole
of.
universe out
Yeah.
there for this.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I only knew the VR we played.
Yeah. Seriously, I feel like most people probably only know that it's a BR, right? Or do you think?
So, and you know what? We'll actually, I have some info on that we'll cover in a little bit later in the episode.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
I can give you a
Keep
full
that
rundown
sealed.
on that. It's kind of interesting.
Okay, so it is a battle royale. It's a maximum of 3 people per team, correct?
Yeah, 3 people.
And how big is the lobby? It's like 60, right?
Yeah, I want to say 60.
I think it's like 60. It's like
Around
between
that 60, yeah.
Yeah, around 60
45
people.
to 60, something
Yeah.
like that. Okay,
Whatever 3 goes into evenly.
yeah.
Which 60 does.
But
King of math.
he's so
pretty
good.
good at that.
Why is this good? This guy such a good personality.
I don't know.
Because we have our natural watch cringe podcast, streamed on all channels, and so when we come together, it's already it's a natural thing, you know.
And I'm here too.
Holy shit!
Okay, so I think that's it for the game as far as kind of a general overview of it. It's a game that is on Steam. I believe it's Steam only, right?
I think it came out
was on
on
console?
PlayStation and Xbox too, but
And
But
it's free.
it is
And it's
free.
free.
It's a free to
It's
play.
free.
Yeah.
And so, by the way, if you want to download it, go ahead.
Yeah, there are people playing it. So like,
It's
There's
hey,
about the last time we checked was about 550 people actively, which sounds sad.
but hey, you get in the lobbies though.
After 15 minutes, you can play a game.
Not
of
always
Fall
15.
Guys.
Not always
Yeah,
15.
but-
And the game is, I guess, let's get into what makes the game kind of tick for us, right? What's the standouts?
Well, I love the game. I think it's one of the most underrated BRs out there, and I think it's a shame only 500 people play it right now because
agreed.
it's so cool. And I think a lot of people don't like it because it's very dark aesthetics, like it's gothic. You're in like Eastern Europe, sucking random people off in the alleyways.
You gotta
And
like,
I'll-
gotta suck.
Yeah,
Obligatory reminder: this is a vampire game.
So let me explain it because I've been thinking about this game a lot. It's so cool because it's a BR, but there's also this kind of class building element to it. Even before the game starts, you pick your team composition, right? So you can have like a healer, someone that blinds people,
The scanner.
the scanner. You have someone that can like track people or like throw gas traps out, which is really cool.
That was you.
Yep, I love the
Yeah,
gas man.
yeah.
I'm a gas man in real life, so I got to be a gas
Yep.
man in the game. that joke should have been preceded by I have IBS, so that's that's where that came. But I think it's
He has
so
to buy special ketchup.
With no onions or garlic.
Yes. So when you're playing the game, you pick your class and then you build up their skills, their different abilities through sucking the blood of people, aka sucking people off in alleyways. And such a cool little like element because they also have like the regular looting system, which is just
Finding weapons where you can.
So it just packed a whole different angle into BR, and it made it interesting for me.
Yeah. So to me, like the standouts, like that's a great explanation of it. So the standouts for me is that actually
Yeah.
the way that you can facet yourself into like a specific role. Like Dorian was always our healer.
Healer or kind of later on I started going almost kind of a front line. I went that one that could like shoot out like a blast that could like block bullets and stuff and also knock back.
Yeah,
I did that a little bit,
that
but
was
yeah, I
good.
did a lot of healing also.
Yeah, the healing.
Yeah. And I tend to just be a scanner. Brendan would be like, "You need to scan here." And so I shoot my bat out.
And we would say, "Bats away." Remember that? I was like, "Bats away, bats away," because the bats.
No,
would-
it was bats go forth.
Oh,
Yeah,
bats
That's
go
what it
forth.
was. Bats go forth.
And the bats, so the bats would go and they would hit like a wall of a building. They would stay there and create a perimeter.
Yeah.
that
It'll
would
scan.
light up.
Yeah, anyone, there would be like a swarm on wherever you shot it out, and any enemy player that would walk into that area, they'd get highlighted on
for
our
a little
screen.
bit,
Yeah.
for some time.
So information gathering.
And you could get that was another cool element. It's like you live this vampire life, and if you get caught sucking someone off, you get revealed on the map for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah,
Right.
that was an interesting mechanic because like in the Vampire the Masquerade world, like that plays into the lore of it because like vampires are supposed to be secret.
Stealth.
Yeah, and so when you're going around trying to, because whenever you would suck the blood of some random NPC,
I love the way you put it. Very.
yes, I didn't want to steal your thing. I didn't want to steal your thing of sucking people off, but like they would give you different like
Abilities.
increases
Yeah.
in your stats. So like this one dude, if you drank him, he would like increase your health. Another one would increase like your melee strength and stuff like that. But yeah, you had to be careful because if you went to kill this one dude and there was another civilian that saw you do it, boom, everyone on the map could see where you are because like they would scream and run away and all that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like all those, all these different, rules or parameters of the game because it does make it more interesting as a BR.
Yeah.
Overall,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird. Yeah, it really was a stealth BR.
Yeah.
I don't think you see that anywhere else.
No.
The way that some people played those nuts though.
No. Yeah,
They were
some
just
people did not give a fuck.
Mongos. Yeah.
Yeah.
They would invite that sort of behavior because once what it created was a vacuum of violence because you would like break into a store or suck the blood of some innocent civilian and someone catches it and now you're lit up and now a ton of two other tribe of vampires come and then they start fighting and then they get third party and third party. It's just like an endless cycle of violence.
Yeah.
and that was it's the pacing of the game is great too. I think
Yeah.
It's fast.
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's incredibly
It's
fast.
fast-paced.
The
game.
the movement was surprisingly smooth for me.
Right.
When I say surprisingly, because this was a game, it wasn't one of the big three, you know, like big three being
Right.
PUBG,
Apex.
Fortnite,
And Apex.
I guess Apex too. I guess 4 then, because I was also going to say Warzone.
Yeah.
But the movement in this was like very smooth, like because you're vampires, right? So you're able to like
Fucking jump like crazy.
super far and
The
like
physics.
every different type of vampire that you could play
Has a
as
different
had a
ability.
different like movement ability. So like
Yep.
one could just jump super far.
Yep.
One would like throw like a projection of themselves that they would then teleport
Teleport
to
to.
and stuff. So it was just really crazy fun movement. That was actually going to be one of my standouts.
Just the
Is
movement?
just the movement, because like the map design was like you're in
Like Bucharest, Romania, or something.
yeah, Budapest. I think.
Budapest.
Budapest. And so like you're like on top of rooftops, and so you'd like be sprinting and then like crouch to do a slide, and you'd be sliding down this roof and then like jump off to the next building and stuff.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
I definitely did enjoy that aspect of the game.
Dude.
It was just so fun to move
It
around.
was so good.
You know,
the
just to
movement was
move.
incredible because you
Yeah.
could go building to building, and then you could dash down, or like, okay, you see a fight, right? So now you're third partying down there.
Yeah.
Now you go jump from your building, clean up shop, you loot, you go back up.
yeah.
Yeah, it did bring that like vertical element to it too.
Which
where
most games tend to not have.
they don't have that really.
Yeah.
Jumping off and sliding up and down like a
But you know, I know that some people probably don't like that though because of the verticality, right? That's another instance that's added into the game where you're not used to
Something
it.
you have to
Yeah.
something you have to keep track of is like, are they above
Where
me?
you're
Are
getting
they below me?
shot at,
Are
right?
they inside a building?
and that's how the end circles always ended. You'd have the group on top
Yeah.
and then the other group cowering inside the
Under.
building.
Yeah.
And it would eventually like you would hope the circle closed on the courtyard and not on the top of the roof because you never, like every
Yeah.
other BR, you didn't know where it's going to
I
close.
would always love it when the circle was closing in on like the nightclub area. Do you remember that one? 'Cause
Yeah.
it was like
nightclub was sick.
it was like a
dude.
3-story, like including the roof
With the
also.
parking lot.
And then and like there's like club music going on in it while everyone's just like jumping in through windows, jumping out, trying to like get the drop on everyone.
Who doesn't like a good? You
Oh
know,
my god!
I mean, it's a fun
Cut
little.
that! Cut that! Cut
End
that!
the show. Burn this one.
How do I censor that?
I don't know.
I think you just have to let that roll.
That was wild.
I was gonna go in like a John Wick direction, but
I wouldn't more of a like,
you went in like a very dark humor kind of way.
but it's super fun to fight in that
Yeah.
club. Back to what we were saying. They have little archway windows on the second floor, and you could hide and put the
Yeah.
gas traps up there, and that would it's
Snipe.
all like
You were so good at the gas traps.
it was like a mini game because every time I got someone to walk into my gas, I was like, "You just smelled my fart. Suffer."
But then like in that game as a trio, we were relatively good. I would say that we won a fair bit of
yeah.
our games.
I
on
think
that.
I've won the most in that game than any other battle royale I've played.
It felt so.
It felt good to win.
Was it a major studio that produced that game?
No.
No, it was
No.
it's something called like Fat Shark or something like that. Something
That's
shark.
Whatever it is, it's up here.
Yeah.
They were so well thought in everything they did, like the characters, the actual engineering, the net code. Like there was
The
like,
netcode was
it
you're right.
was so smooth.
Yeah.
I never felt any bugs. Like there was some like sometimes you couldn't pick up a weapon, but it was not too common that happened. But
And-
like there was no time where I was fighting and I thought I was ripped off by something. You know what I
Well,
mean?
no, because you say that, but when you're wearing voice, you're like, "That's some bullshit."
That's a protective shell that I have. It's not me, it's the game.
Yeah.
So is there like a visibly noticeable difference as far as sound design goes to you? Because
I will say maybe that's one thing that could have used some work.
yeah.
Because like when I had like an LMG, the sound for it was not like when I use an LMG in like Warzone or something, it feels like I'm shooting an LMG.
Right.
This one it was just like
You
you
are
know, it
right,
wasn't that
yeah.
it wasn't that punchy. But like I know what you're saying about like the quality, because like even just the other thing that stood out to me was like the quality of like the skins and like just your character model and everything. It wasn't like it looked good in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like it was high fidelity. Like the clothing actually like moved around. It wasn't just like a
I remember.
suit that you were wearing.
I remember when I realized and we started playing that game more and more.
Yeah.
I even bought like $20 worth
Yeah,
of like.
yeah.
I
skins on
paid.
that.
I paid for the battle pass. I don't
too.
usually pay for a battle pass.
Yeah,
in
me too.
games.
I usually don't, and then
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
Speaks to how cool the skins are really cool.
yeah. Plus, it also helped that we won like almost every other game.
You want to
Yeah.
look fly, you know. When
Yeah.
you're winning, you want to look fly.
Yeah. I like when we're in that like area where it's like the 3 tiers, and there's like the parking area or the tunnel underground in
Yeah.
the crane area,
It was near like almost like that embassy building or
Yeah.
something, right? Yeah.
and so
That was
we
cool.
would try to fight there, and then they would try to like rush down, but then they can't because traps everywhere.
Because the other thing, and this is another thing that you have to think about, aside from just the civilians that you were sucking off, outside that like ambassador building, remember there were also those camps.
NPCs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was those.
Yes.
There were these camps
Another-
of NPCs
Another element to the game.
with weaponry, and they were on the lookout for vamps. But the thing is, it was sort of like a risk reward because in these camps they usually had a lot of the good weapons.
Yes.
So
They'd have a chest like a gold.
Yeah.
Gold weapon
Yeah, the
or
gold
something, or
weapon.
Purple. Gold
also
weapon.
like a few things. One, when you went in, you're firing your weapon, so like you're letting everyone know that shit's going down in this area.
Right.
So you're drawing attention to yourself. The enemies themselves there are not
They're strong.
a joke. Yeah, like
They're strong.
they can kill you.
They
'Cause
can
there's a
kill
lot of
you.
them.
There's a lot of them.
And then you're also attracting other vamps. To
Yeah,
the area.
yeah.
Because they're like, oh, these guys just started up a camp. I'm gonna wait until they finish it and then kill them and get
Yeah,
the loot.
yeah. Wait
We
for them
do
to be
that.
distracted. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we do that
we've
a
done
lot.
we've done that and then had that done to us.
Yeah.
So
What goes around is all around.
how the turntables. But yeah, so kind of going into the good, the bad, and the ugly here. We've already covered a bit of the good. We love the sound design. We love the movement.
Let me give you. I'm gonna give you another good.
Yeah, give me another good.
Give us another good.
It's free.
It is free. Yes.
Great.
That's a great.
That's a
That's
great
a great.
good.
Not
That's
a
a great
good. That's
good.
a fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But another one that for the good for me is that the games are, since it's so fast paced, games are quick.
They are. Yeah.
They are.
They are faster than like a Warzone game.
Faster than Warzone,
yeah.
faster than Fortnite,
PUBG.
faster,
Oh,
definitely
way
faster
faster
than
than
PUBG.
PUBG.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Bu-
It is
and
very
so
fast.
it's super quick, so you can churn out games. Like, you lose early, you don't feel bad that you wasted like fucking 30 minutes of your time.
Right.
You just queue immediately, and then you get back into the game. And I think that's a good, because like when games are quick, it does get,
You play it differently.
you play it differently.
Yeah.
You're more risky.
Yeah.
You're.
Also, when they're quicker, for me personally, when I lose, it's not that big a deal.
No, because it
You
wasn't
know?
a time investment.
Yeah, that's my big thing with like League of Legends kind of things. It's like I'll get into this game for like an hour,
He gets really mad.
end up losing, and it's just like I feel like just a huge waste
That's
of time.
why people are so toxic.
Yeah,
He gets-
honestly, probably.
he gets really mad.
I get mad.
What's the worst thing you've ever said to someone in that game?
Oh,
in League? Ugh.
Not-
well,
not that bad.
I stole one of your things actually, and I
did?
got reported for it.
oh, immediately.
Yes.
Immediate report.
we lost a game, and I was just like, go suck your mom's dick pussy,
Oh, that's a good one.
and I got immediately reported.
The next game, he got the.
I got the warning.
The warning that
Yeah.
You
like
got the warning.
I got the
that
warning.
he was
That's
reported.
a nuclear bomb when you drop that one.
Yeah.
Oh, not that bad, because I've said worse.
I mean, you've gotten actually banned.
Yeah, I've gotten banned
I have
multiple
never actually
times.
been banned, so I never
been
say anything
banned?
that bad.
I've been
Like-
banned
like
three
banned.
times. 3 times. Yeah.
When your character gets banned, it's
Your
all
account,
your stuff is gone.
everything.
No, technically,
So,
you
my
got
ban-
your
my-
account back.
I have my account
It was
back.
it was a 6-month ban, so
It
you
was
were
a
like,
year.
I might as well just. Oh,
It was a year ban.
Still, you were like, I might as well just make a new account.
And so this account that I had played on that was banned, I said some pretty heinous things. Honestly, I understand why I was banned.
yeah,
like,
you when you got the ban notice, you were like, understandable.
Yeah,
You were
I
like,
got
I'm
it.
surprised you didn't catch this earlier.
But that account I've had since alpha, and as my kid, as Rai tells me, he's like, yeah, that account is worth over $3,000 because
Oh,
one,
man.
I've spent $3,000+ on that account, and it also has skins that is super old from like
That you can't
packs
get
that
anymore.
is impossible
Yeah.
to get, but the skins themselves are worth like 500.
And you can sell them through the Steam marketplace, or how does it? Or
League isn't on Steam.
That's
it's on
that's
its own client.
yeah.
that's
it's on
breaking
its own client.
TOS,
What is
by
it
the
on?
way.
It's
If you sell, that breaks TOS. So
but
I
you
would.
have to sell the account, right? You can't sell the item.
You can't.
Everyone winked.
So
So back
Anyways,
to the
back to Vampire.
Vamp.
back to Vamp.
We
so
were
yeah,
talking
the games
about
were quick.
bads.
The games
The
were
games are
quick.
good. That's good to
That's a
me.
good-
Yeah.
And that's. I just wanted to add that before we go on to the bad and the ugly.
Yeah.
Any other goods then? Let's see.
Oh, I remember there was one that you're like, ooh, the characters are sexy.
There are.
I
Some
mean,
sexy
they're
ass
vampires.
characters.
Like they better be. Well, okay, because the
Like
thing
Twilight?
is, there were different, like in the lore, there were different clans of vampires, and they had different looks. So not all of them were that sexy. Because like honestly, the one you played were the Nosferatu. and
Oh yeah, those were the sexiest ones. You're right.
What are you?
No, there's the one with no face, dude.
Those are the ones that like they're bald. They look like actual bats. Like their noses are up and everything. Like so those. You know, I mean, I guess to each their own. If he thinks that they're the hottest, who am I to disagree? I guess.
I will say another good plus is they set the mood of that game
Oh, yeah.
very, very
yes,
well.
you feel
Great
like a
execution.
vampire.
The
You
world
do feel
building
like a
was
vampire.
fantastic.
It was always at night, obviously, because you're a vampire. But like it was just like a cool, like rainy
Yeah, a little
setting.
rainy,
or
dark.
foggy.
Yeah, foggy.
And I like because they had the nightclubs, but they also in the lobby when you're waiting around, they also had that little club too that you could go into.
Yes,
Yeah.
And I love that connection between vampires and clubs because I always think of Blade
Yes.
Yes.
when he just
Yes.
kills all those vampires in
Yes.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick, man. Someone watched Blade and then made that movie. I think. They're like, I'm inspired.
They watched Blade and
They,
they made that.
you
movie.
mean they watched Blade
Huh?
and then they
Huh?
made the
the
game
game?
that was
Oh.
already an existing IP.
Yeah.
So I mean that's true though. The world building on that was fantastic.
Yeah, like
Fantastic.
it's and so I think this actually can kind of lead us into the bad and also
Ooh.
another topic that we're going to go into, which is why the game failed. It did.
Yeah.
Even though you can still play it, and honestly, like I would still like to play it and everything.
Come join.
Commercially, this game did not succeed.
Okay.
But
So go into the bad.
So going into the bads, probably they I think they had a problem putting out new content.
Yeah.
Because I think to this day it's like it's still just one map.
Right.
It's the same guns, I think.
It is.
They added a few.
They added
guns,
some different guns and
but
some melee
nothing
stuff.
nothing too crazy. And so yeah, I think they had a problem. Probably because of high quality the content was.
It's hard to keep.
It's hard to keep up, churning out that much.
Yeah.
It's a small studio. That's
yeah, it's a very small studio. It's not
Yeah.
like Square Enix,
Yeah.
where
Or 343, where it's like
yeah,
hundreds of
yeah,
people.
it's not like that. It's not like Final Fantasy
Yeah. No.
that
it
can
was-
keep churning out incredible content because of their.
Yeah. I think that was a problem that you ran into in the game. Honestly, when it comes to straight up bad, so like for your context, when we separate bad from ugly, bad we're talking about like things that are just like objectively bad game design wise.
Or no,
Okay.
it's not just game design, but like any facet of the game, as long as it's bad.
Yeah.
That everyone you believe can agree on
Yeah.
that as being bad. Then
Meanwhile,
that's our bad. Ugly is.
Is like your own personal
personal
taste. Like
opinion.
what did you like that you would maybe change?
Gotcha.
So, but on like for bad, aside from I already talked about the sound design a little bit.
The
It
sound.
could sometimes be bad. Other times it could be good. Like I liked the sound. Like when you're running across the rooftops, it had that like clink
Yeah.
clank,
Yeah, it does.
kind of sound. Like
Yeah.
there were times where it was really good, but certain like weapons weren't as punchy as they could be. I feel like when I like would melee people, it wasn't quite as like satisfying as
Yeah.
it could be.
Damn.
The
I don't know. It
yeah,
depends on the
that's-
weapon, right? Because I love the dual blades.
The dual blades.
Oh my
was
gosh.
great.
True. Yeah, which again, like it was very hit or miss then. The
Oh,
sound.
I see.
Yeah.
The dual blades, in terms of the melee weapons, I feel like the dual blades and the big katana.
Yeah.
Those were
Katana
satisfying.
was cool because you would be able
You
to
would
block bullets.
You block
Yeah.
bullets, which, but the other melee weapons, to your point, I felt like were, but
Hit
they
or
were
miss.
also all common. Though it was like a bat
An
with nails
axe.
and an
Yeah.
axe
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
The dual blades were like the legendary ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were like the top ones. More on the good before I go into the
Yeah,
bad.
go for it.
I thought, yes, they did have one map, but that map had a ton of variation in it.
That's right.
Like,
Because the circles move so fast.
yeah,
And
Also,
but
it wasn't a circle. Remember?
It wasn't.
It was.
like a
It would be weird.
blob.
It was. It seemed to be completely random.
it's random.
Yeah.
And so, because it was like a gas. It was a gas that was like designed to kill vampires. That was like the story behind it.
Yeah, it's just garlic.
And so, like sometimes, like instead of a circle closing in, it would like. Sometimes it'd be like a line almost going up the
Yeah.
map,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like we'd
You
be
had
like,
this
"Are we
one
about to
little-
get cut off from like
Yeah,
the
the
north
main-
and we're south and stuff?" So
Yep.
that was kind of cool. You never knew where it was gonna
See,
go.
he just added on to the good.
God, yes,
The good is great. They have like if you think about the map, there was different areas, right? Like they had an area that was a graveyard. They had an
Uh-huh.
area that was a kind of like like on the waterfront.
The shipping
like
docks.
a like a
docks.
park area.
There was a train.
Oh, yeah, the
the
park.
train yard. Yeah, yeah.
There was a big courtyard. Remember
Oh,
with all the towering churches
yeah.
around there.
That is a good one,
Yeah,
actually.
there's like so many
Damn.
cool
There's
different
a lot
areas,
of
and then there's like the
variation.
dense like little neighborhoods that have like all the multi-level buildings.
Mhm.
Very good map design, I think.
Dang, you're right.
Yeah, it's pretty good design.
Those are
good.
some stuff that I completely forgot.
Yeah.
That is a very good point because I as much as I would have liked multiple maps, I never felt myself being like
I
I'm
need it.
tired of this
Yeah.
map. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
We've mashed so many hours of that game, and I never realized that.
Yeah, and then it had those big cranes. You could end the game on a crane.
Yeah, that was you.
On
That
the-
was
the
you.
love
Construction
tower.
yard, yeah, dude, that one
There's
was
so
a fun
many good
one.
spots.
I
on that map.
remember one game we played. It was me, Brennan, Rye, my kid. Uh, Rye. So my kid loves rushing. Doesn't matter if it's a bad spot, he'll rush, right? And then Brendan,
I
he's
love
trying to
winning.
get. He's trying. Yeah, he loves to win. So he gets a high angle in preparation of the final zone.
Just throwing gas
And
traps
so-
all over the place.
So me and
littering.
Rye were just rushing, and then Bren's like, "Uncle Bren, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh wow, yeah, you're just gonna camp. That's cool." He's like, "Dang, Uncle Bren, didn't know
in
you're a
your
camper."
in your ivory tower. Yeah,
Like,
gave me a hard time. I was like, "You're like 14. Give me a break." But we won that game.
we did. We won that game because of you, not because of him. Because we kept pushing, so they were needing to like move, and you were just picking them off.
I was just, no, it was good because he was your kid was serving as the bait. I was like, go over there now and get these guys to pull out.
Snuff
And
them
then-
out.
And he
yeah.
does, yeah.
And he was doing a good job.
So let me go to the bad real quick.
Okay, yeah.
So I think that, and it's not to the fault of the game. Their player retention was hard. I think so. To me, the bad. I wish that they had more players,
Yeah.
and it's that only happened because of the entire product.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone, right? Because it is dark, it is very gloomy, it's very fast paced, and not everyone is able to adapt to those changes if they're not used to the genre.
Okay.
Whereas you play a game like Fork Knife, there's like a sliding scale. It's a slider. And
Sliding scale, I
a
like
sliding
that.
scale. And like the level of difficulty kind of adjusts. Whereas with Vamp, it's fucking hard as off the rip. Because do you guys remember? I don't know if you remember when we joined the game, people were already like slide canceling into like super jumps.
Yeah, they're doing
And
crazy stuff.
they're doing crazy shit that we were like, how the fuck do we do that? I mean, eventually we
Yeah.
learned it.
Yeah, because it doesn't teach you in the
It
game.
does not
It
teach
teaches
you.
you how to slide, and it teaches you how to jump. It doesn't teach you that you can, if you slide and use the momentum, you can like
Yeah.
get a super jump.
Yeah. And so I think that the difficulty is or it's not even necessarily the difficulty. It's just the mechanics of the game could be very hard to understand, and I think that that's a bad.
Yeah, especially when it came to sucking off the people, because one thing that I don't know if it really made this clear is that, like I said, whenever you get a guy, it'll increase a stat.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
There's a limit.
you're capped until you're able to like execute another player.
that has that stat.
Or those camps of the soldiers. That's another reason why they were so valuable, is because when you executed those dudes,
you max out
you could increase the cap
Yeah.
on those stats.
from 3 to 5.
And it didn't. Yeah, I don't remember it explaining that to you, because I
does, yeah.
remember like at one point I'm trying to like max my health, and I'm like, why isn't it letting me go up anymore?
yeah.
And yeah,
That's
I had to figure
true.
that
That's
out.
a good bad.
I actually have one more good.
all right,
Okay,
all right, let's hear
okay.
it.
So I thought everything was very well balanced. The character classes and the guns were very well balanced. I feel like you didn't have too much of an advantage if you went with a certain like gun or character
Yeah.
class.
I can agree with that. I think that there were definitely some like certain
That-
ones that sucked, but it wasn't
sure.
like there was like the one gun
That
that
was
like
just
I
gonna
have
rule
to
them
get
all.
this
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. There were definitely options that you could win, multiple
Yeah.
options that you could win.
That's
with.
true.
And same with the character class too, because I saw a lot of different team comps out there.
Yes.
Yeah, there was right.
Every time I would get killed by some guy using his power, I was like, oh god, that's the broken character. But then like a different guy would.
Use it
I would
just
like,
take
oh,
it.
that seems broken. It's like, oh, I guess if everything's broken, then
Nothing is
it's balanced.
broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We thought I think I don't, correct me if I'm wrong. There's a character that would go and blind everyone.
Yes.
Yeah,
And-
the flashbang.
The siren.
And I thought like in the beginning we all kind of thought that character was not good, but then
We
started
got
using-
flashbang.
we got flashbang and it was it's like game over when that happens.
Yeah.
If you have a good flashbang, good positioning. So like you just have
You
to know
started
how to use
picking
it.
that up.
I don't know. I was always
I
thinking-
tried. I
think
tried it a
was
few
Dorian.
times.
Dorian.
It's true, but that's the thing, because it happened to us, and I was like, okay, I'll just do that. It's kind of hard to
hard.
do. It
It's
wasn't
hard.
just like a roll your face on the keyboard
skill thing.
and
It's
do it. Yeah.
The game is very hard on skill. Like
Yeah.
if you're not good with eye-hand coordination, it really taxes you on this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stick to league.
Yeah, stick to league.
So what's the bad though? You got to give me a bad.
For me, I think I have an ugly. I don't know if it's a bad.
okay,
That's fine.
let's
Yeah,
hear it.
That's fair.
So I just didn't think they had enough money to market the game, and I think that's one of the reasons why it didn't take off because
Oh,
they didn't
yeah.
have a hype man, dude.
Yeah.
They needed to pay someone.
They
like
needed a shroud.
a Shroud or a Doctor Disrespect or something
Yeah.
to just play that game every day for like 3 months, 6 months, and get people interested in it. I feel like they didn't have
That
that hype.
kind
So-
of budget doesn't exist for small studios.
So this is
especially if they spent
actually-
it all on making it a good game too, right?
This
So-
is actually the perfect segue into the wide field, because I kind of followed this game before it came out.
Oh,
a little
wow.
bit. It had a rough. It started off not on the right foot, because, like I said, Vampire the Masquerade. It's like an established brand, and little history lesson. In the early 2000s, there was a game called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines that came out. I never played it, but apparently it's sort of like a cult classic of a game. It's like a single player RPG, play a vampire. A lot of people really liked it. Skip ahead like 20 years. Around the time, a little after Cyberpunk was announced, they were like, Bloodlines 2. We're announcing Bloodlines 2, and it's going to be like Cyberpunk, first person, RPG. Everyone's super psyched for this game. Development process is going along, starts hitting a lot of bumps. It gets delayed. Eventually, it loses its publisher, and it's basically like, not necessarily canceled, but basically delayed infinitely for the foreseeable future.
wow.
Everyone's disappointed, and then they're like, hey, here's a battle royale game. Vampire the
This
Masquerade.
is what we kind of like salvaged from the.
Not even. It was just completely separate.
Oh,
It
separate.
It caught fire like unnecessarily because it was a different company.
Oh, that sucks.
So like the
Yeah.
tragedy of that one game.
The
just
tragedy of this
spilled-
game, but kind of going
that's-
back to what you were talking about, how like the audience, right? Vampire the Masquerade, it has an audience, originally of like tabletop role players, single
not
player
FPS
RPG.
people.
They're
Not
not looking for
VR.
battle royale.
Yeah.
And so when this game that everyone was so excited for gets essentially canceled, and now
They get
also,
a shoe
hey, we
toy
have a
instead.
battle royale though coming out, on top of the fact that this was also around the time where everyone and their mother was making a battle royale.
And it was annoying, and
Yeah.
especially to the tabletop players who are probably
Yeah,
annoyed.
that was a time where like Fortnite was really taking off. So was Warzone, and so every publisher was like, "All right, we got to make a battle royale. Doesn't matter what IP we use, just put a battle royale."
Because the people that wouldn't like those games are into Vampire, and then their game that they are dreaming about gets canceled, and they're given a battle royale.
Yeah.
It's kind of a slap in the face.
It is. It's a little bit,
Yeah.
and so
That's tragic.
It didn't,
It is
yeah,
tragic.
because like I said, completely different developer, completely different publisher. I think actually I might be
Wow.
wrong about the publisher, but it was. There was originally going to be both of them. There's going to be the RPG and the battle royale.
Man.
RPG gets canceled. Everyone's just like, "Oh, great, another battle royale."
Oh, dude. That's
Also-
so sad.
I mean, what you're saying was not wrong either. They just didn't really
They didn't
market,
market
it.
They didn't hype it up.
So it released unmarketed and with that sort of scarlet letter on it. That
And I think the mood sets people off. They don't want to. A lot of people don't like that dark type of game.
Yeah.
Whereas most other BRs, it's just like pure violence, like army violence, or you're
Or like
building.
super bright color, cartoony,
color,
like
yeah.
Fortnite.
Yeah, you're killing people.
Where's
Have a good
John
time.
Wick? Where's Thor?
Yeah. So like it had like an kind of anti-popular.
It's a very niche IP
Yeah.
to begin with.
Dude, I didn't know the whole thing with the RPGs.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of tragic.
yeah.
like
there.
that's so tragic. Like that's to no fault of the
Well,
developers.
Yeah, it really caught a stray bullet.
Stories about vampires usually are tragic, so this is a good ending if you think of it that way.
Yeah, I mean he's right though. That is good. That's sad though.
Yeah, so it was just an unfortunate set of circumstances that it really was an uphill battle
Yeah.
for it from the beginning. Which is because it's tragic because it's honestly
a
such a
sad
good game.
Brilliant
It's such
game.
a good game.
One of my favorite BRs.
We couldn't
honestly.
even stop giving it we couldn't stop giving it goods.
Yeah.
Just because it was so consistent with everything it did and it's just tragic.
Absolutely.
So if you want to play it, download it on Steam, go on our Discord, we'll jam some games or something.
Yeah, yeah. And one cool thing that like the developers actually really cared about this game. And you would see it cuz like in the patch notes like they would straight up ask players like what do you want? What do you not
And
like?
they give it.
And they would give it and then if they couldn't they would explain why.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times where you play a game
Very
and
well
it's just
thought
like,
out.
why wouldn't you just do this? And like they never address it. But so like eventually the developers did sort of have to call it as far as like actually new content for the game and everything, so they could go on whatever the next project is. But what's cool is that like they sort of put the game sort of in the hands of like the community.
Yeah.
And like they. All the battle pass stuff is like permanently on there. You can like, unlock it all. Like you don't have to pay a bunch of money for it and stuff like that. So they left it like in the hands of the people who enjoyed it.
What do you see the future for this game next 2 years?
I think it's I think it's gonna die.
Zero players.
I think
Servers
so.
gonna be shut down.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so. And
Probably, but-
that does break my heart just because it is a fun game.
Yeah.
And it's rare to find a game that resonates so well with the small player base that it kind of caters to, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I hope you guys play this. I don't know, maybe we can keep it afloat.
Yeah, who knows? Like, I don't know if this is how it works, but if for some reason there's some huge
Resurgence.
resurgence of players, like,
Well, the 500 or 600 that they have seem dedicated. They're always on every day.
The loyal.
The loyal cult followers.
That's right.
But if we do have a Kickstarter for them, right? That
No.
would-
This fucking guy, dude.
I just see an opportunity for money.
Jesus. All right. Well, my final thoughts is the game was fantastic. I think that it's gonna die in 2 years, and as
Unfortunately.
much as I don't
Yeah.
want it to, but for the moment, for the time being, while there
Yeah.
are people playing it, you guys should play it.
it's a good time. While it is a battle royale at the end of the day, it feels different. If you're
does.
wanting a break from Fortnite or Warzone, like and
This
just
is it.
Want to kind of switch it up a little bit.
Get
This
a
is
little
it.
more
This is it.
darker vibes,
Yeah.
edgier mood.
Yeah.
So if you do join our Discord, I don't mind playing this game. Actually, I
Yeah.
really do enjoy this game.
For real.
And Brent, how about you? What are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I really love the game. I think again it was one of the best BRs. I love the mood. I love everything we discussed about it, and it's a tragic story. It's one of the games that I'll always have a Kodak moment with.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about you?
Pretty much. Yeah. You guys said it all already. It's just it. I have like a lot of good memories playing with these three. Wins and losses. Like
Yeah.
they were good times.
We were never heated.
I was never heated
No.
playing Bloodhunt. It was
Yeah.
just always a good fun time.
It's
Yeah.
such a great time.
It was a great time.
And
Let's
yeah.
hold hands and think about it. Gotta think you're actually gonna do that.
Oh.
Anyways,
Join our blood cult. We drink cow blood on the weekend.
that's the episode. Thank you guys
Yeah.
for listening.
and actually, yeah, Brendan, we haven't really come up with like a good way to like end the show. Do you have any ideas on that?
Spit out your